Jason Mackey from the Post-Gazette, 93.7 The Fan, joins us now. Jason lives in my neighborhood. I'm going to have you drive by and take a peek at this. How you doing, Jason?
I'm doing great, man. Thank you for that intro. I love being brought in as we talk about somebody pooping on their house.
That's right. That's the way we do things around here.
Hey, I'm honored. It's good, man. Somebody's thriving.
Jason, we want to throw some of our hot topics your way in a second. We haven't talked about this yet. Derek Shelton went on MLB Network yesterday at the winter meetings. He had this to say. I want your reaction. We'll give our reaction here in a second.
Are you in the suite pounding the table, ordering some quesadillas on the side, and some homeless buffs? But are you get me 2 offensive players, and we can really make a run at this?
Well, I don't know if there's any pounding the table, but we are talking about it, and I think your point is right. This is a division that we can win because our starting pitching is really good, and we do need to add bats. We have a pretty good core with Brian Reynolds and Neil Cruz, and last year Joey Bart turned into a good offensive player, so we're in a good spot. We do need to add the way that your board showed up right there. We do need to add those things, but I feel really good about where we're at.
What do you make of that, Jason?
There's a lot of truth to it. Whether it's going to happen, I don't know. I think they're going to add a bat. I don't think they're going to add a bat at a level that is going to make people go, wow, all right, yeah, they echoed my sentiment. People look at the Pirates and they look at the options at first base and at Pete Alonso, Christian Walker, Paul Goldschmidt. I don't think the Pirates are going to get any of those guys, but Shelton is accurate in saying, I think we have a good nucleus because we have good starting pitching. The division is winnable. All of that stuff is real, and it breaks down for me, guys, because at that point I would, preach urgency or go get somebody.
Yes.
Go get somebody that makes a statement that puts you out there. I think there are some kind of workarounds with middle tier options, and I mean trade candidates like a Ryan Mountcastle or Yandy Diaz that would make sense to fit the Pirates bill and also show people they're serious.
Jason, he did say that Joey Bart came on as a good offensive component last year, and I think we all can agree that was a diamond in the rough. They kind of lucked out, in my opinion, with Joey Bart and acquiring him. What are they going to do with him this year, though, with Endy Rodriguez coming back?
Honestly, Dorin, I think, it's Joey Bart's position to lose. I don't see how Joey Bart's not their opening day catcher, and he should catch the majority of the time. Endy Rodriguez is a fun prospect and a cool story, but Joey Bart had an OPS over 800. As a catcher, I'm sorry, man. Performance dictates.
Yeah.
He's not the best defensive catcher, but they need all the bats they can get. Joey Bart's your opening day catcher, and he's going to catch 2 out of every 3. If Endy becomes the backup guy, I don't know. I think their backup catcher situation is kind of a weird thing where you could go Endy, you could go Henry Davis if you feel like you have to get him at bats. You still have Jason DeLay in the organization. He might be the best defensive catcher of all those guys. But, I'm sorry, Endy. I like him a lot, but you got to hit to show me that you deserve in the lineup, and Joey Bart's done that.
Would they consider trading Henry Davis, and would there be any takers? And then I'll add another one. Could they consider trading Mitch Keller? This is something Starkey has talked about. I think it's a good idea. I really like Mitch. I think there's a ton of value if he's on your team, but he also costs a lot of money, and I think might be able, because of the way he eats innings, to fetch you maybe one of those names you're talking about.
Yeah, so the first one's easier for me, Adam. Henry Davis, absolutely. I'm not saying they're eager to trade him. I'm saying I don't think they would be against it. I just don't see a clear path to playing time. And I think Henry right now, because of his pedigree being a 1-1 pick, you might have somebody who is attracted to that. And you might not, too, because he hasn't hit consistently at the major league level. Teams might look at that and say no. As for Keller, I would not. That's not to say they wouldn't or they would be against it. That's just my personal philosophy about starting pitching. It looks great to have Thomas Harrington and Bubba Chandler and Mike Burrows and Johan Oviedo and these young names. I've been around the Pirates and baseball enough to know that oftentimes those plans are scuttled. Something goes wrong. Mitch Keller has shown to me that he can pitch in a major league rotation at a high level. Yeah, he's got some stuff in the second half of the season he needs to clean up, but the dude's been an all-star. There's no question about his performance. If they're going to create an identity for themselves, to me, it has to be wrapped around pitching, and I'm not willing to give that up.
Jason, grade 2 hamstring injury potentially for George Pickens. What's your take on that? Is this fishy to you?
No, it's not, Dorin. Okay, yes, it's fishy. No, I'm not, thinking that it's anything more than a hamstring injury. I think the weird part, we were talking about this on the pregame show, like if this news would have come out without Tomlin's walk-in interview to Tracy Wolfson, I don't think we bat an eye. I think we say, oh, it showed up late on the report, blah, blah, blah. And I mean, Dorin, you have a much better sense about this stuff than me. The coach might expect one thing showing up for work on a Sunday morning. A guy might get moving and something feels weird, and then all of a sudden that changes. And those of us on the media side, we don't get all that information, nor should we. And that changes how you want to play a guy. So I think it's weird because of that interview, but it doesn't raise too many alarm bells for me, especially missing multiple games.
We asked this question earlier, can the Steelers beat the Eagles without George Pickens? But let's flip it a different way. You've got this monumental challenge here these next 3 games in 11 days against legitimate, bona fide Super Bowl contenders. Do the Steelers merely just need to beat the Ravens to win the division? Do they need to win 2 of 3? Do they need to sweep this? What do they need to do to announce to the world that they're a Super Bowl contender?
Yeah, I think win 2 of 3, Adam. I do. I worry about winning in Baltimore, to be honest with you. I think Baltimore is a far better team than what it showed against the Steelers. That game worries me. I mean, they all worry me to a degree, I guess. It's not like there's any easy ones here. In the Philadelphia game, I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know what you guys have batted around. I mean, it's not like they've been they're not putting up 30 a game. So these are 2 teams here that somebody's going to be able to get their offense on track, and it very well could be the Steelers. I think they can beat the Eagles without George Pickens personally, but yeah, I'd like to see them win 2 of 3. I'd feel a heck of a lot better about the big picture here rather than like maybe eking one out just to win the division.
Jason, the Pens play the Avalanche tonight. What's your temperature on the Penguins right now?
Yeah, it's better, warmer, and you know why, Dorin? Because Tristan Jarry. I mean, that's what is going to have to drive this thing. If he can, he hasn't stunk lately, but if he plays as poorly as he has for large stretches of this season, they have no chance. If he can give them respectable to maybe above average goaltending, I still think this can be a playoff team. And I think we've seen it. They've won 5 of 6. They've been in games. I thought it was interesting. I was in New York for that dud against the Rangers. That's as mad as I've seen Mike Sullivan maybe ever. Like, I think there was a loss in Columbus in their cup run in 17. And I know that's like an obscure pool, but he was really, really mad. And I think because he knows they're close, he knows they're actually responding to things and they have a chance. So anyway, that's my read on them, that the bar has kind of been raised. And if Tristan Jarry can continue to give them the goaltending that he did Saturday night against Toronto, I do think this team has a chance to pull out of it.
I wish we were graded on the same curve. Just don't suck.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
I know, right?
That's not a bad place to be and collect, $5 million a season.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
Yeah, 5 and some change, man.
5 and some change. Just don't suck. Jason, you did not suck. You never suck. We love you on the pregame show. Appreciate you jumping on, buddy.
All right, guys. Thanks so much. Have a great day. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. You got to drive past the Grinch. All right?
Yeah, that's right.
I'll text you the address. That's
All right,
Jason
buddy.
Mackey, Post-Gazette, and, of course, 93.7 The Fan.